Hello, it's time for a level 1 function notation lesson. So, the way to deal with these things, first things first. Remember when you have a graph and it's got points on it? Well, each of those points is some sort of x comma y coordinates, right? It's got coordinates. Well, to figure out all these things like f of 2, f of negative 5, and that sort of stuff, you have to be able to tell what the coordinates are for points, which is, just an important thing to remember. So, like, this has an x value of 3, and then the y value is 6. Or you got a point here. This is at the point. This one's at 2, 4, right? You got all these points. Remember, the points are x and then y. What makes function notation a little bit different, instead of it being x, y, it's actually going to be x and then f of x. F of x means the same thing as y. So when it's asking for things like f of 2, that means the y value when x is 2, or x equals 2. We'll put equals. Okay. And that's how all these work. This is the y value when x is negative 5. This right here is saying, oh, the y value is negative 4. What's the x? And so that's how you read these. It's pretty easy once you understand that little tidbit there. So if I want to find f of 2, well, that means I got to go to my graph, go to where x is 2, because it told us the x is 2, and we have to go until we hit our function. So you go to 2, and then you go to your function, which is right here. Well, the function has a y value of 4, and so I'm going to put 4 there. Ta, first one, f of negative 5, that means I got to go where x is negative 5, which is here, and then I have to go to my function, which is up here. So I hit this point. That has that point there is negative 5, 2, which means that's my function value. F of negative 5 is 2. It's the y value when x is negative 5. Okay. The next two, it's asking what the x is if the y value is negative 4. So this means this is a y value. What's the x value when y is negative 4? Or what's the x value when y is 2? So we're going to come back to our graph. Let's go to my y-axis and find negative 4. Here it is. I need to now find my function. Well, it's not over here. It's over here. So I'm going to come over here. Here's my point. And I have to find the x value for that. Oh, the x value, you just go straight up, and that gives you the x value of negative 2. So here we go. X is going to be equal to negative 2 there. And then my second one, it says the y value is 2, and we have to find the x value. So again, I'm going to go to my y-axis, go up to 2, and I have to go find my function. Oh, it's actually at 2 different spots. It's over here, and it's over here. Well, here on the right side, I need to do some erasing. Got a lot of stuff here. Yeah, I just got these 2 points here that have this y value, since the y value is 2. So I got a point here and a point here. This point over here on the right side has an x value of 1. And this one over here, we actually wrote it down already. It's at the point negative 5, 2. So both of them have a y value of 2. And there's 2 different x's. I want you to put both of them. The x values are going to be negative 5 or 1. Okay, so that's right, both of those 2 points there. I did a lot of scribbling, but there you go. So yeah, that's what's going on. So let's go to this next one. If we need to find f of 1, you need to go where x is 1, and then you go up or down until you hit your function, which is going to be right there. The y value there is 3. So this is the point 1, 3, which means f of 1 is 3. F of negative 2. Let's come over here to negative 2, and then you go down. Oh, this one's kind of in the middle. So I'm going to say it's just negative 1.5. It's at the point negative 2, negative 1.5. So I'm going to put negative 1.5. If it's between 2 numbers, just do an approximation. I got next one. What's the x value if f of x is 1? Well, f of x equals 1 means the y value is 1. So I'm going to come up here to 1, and I have to figure out where my function is. Well, it's got 2 different numbers there. There's one here at 3. That's at 3, 1. And then you got one over here. This is at negative 1, 1. And so I'm going to write down those 2 numbers. X can equal negative 1, or the other one was at 3, when x was 3. When x is 3, the y value is 1. When x is negative 1, the y value is 1 also. Okay, and go on to the next one. What's the x value if f of x equals negative 5? So I'm going to come down here, negative 5. figure out how high it is. Well, I got a point here and a point here. Those x values are -3 and 5. So I'm going to write both of those again. So x is going to equal -3 or 5 or 5. Ta-da! So that's how you do the graphing ones. It's like their x, y's are pairs. They're matching up. So you have to figure out what the points are, which points have what x values, or which points have which y values. When you get down here to where the tables are, they're already matched up for you. Look, if x is -7, then the y value is 0. If x is 8, then the y value is -2. So they're already matched up. And so what we're doing here is just f of 8 means what's the y value when x is 8. So you go to where x is 8, find the y value, it's -2, and you write it down. F of -2 means I need to find where my x value is -2, which is right here. And then I write down my y value that goes with it. That's 7. So that's 7. Write that. Be very careful. There is a -2 here, but that's the f of x value. Okay. So make sure you're not mixing up. The number in the parentheses is x. The number on the other side, what it equals, is a y value. So this one here, what's the x value when the y value, remember that's a y, is 1? So I'm going to go through my table here and find 1. Oh, I found 1 for my y value. I need to write down the x with it, and that's 5. So x is going to equal 5. And on my last one, what's the x value when f of x equals -7? Again, I need to go to my y values, my f of x's, and find -7. It's right there. And I need to find the x that goes with it, which is 3. So write down 3. Okay, and we got one last example here. F of 6. Remember, that's the x value is 6. And you have to find the y value that goes with it. It's 4. So write down 4. Next one, f of -1 means I need to go and find where -1 is. There, I found it. And you write down the y value. It's -2. Be very careful. There were other -1s here, but those are the function values, not the x values. So when we get down here, we're trying to find the x values. So it says the y is 5. What's the x value? Well, you look at your y's, find 5. The x value is -2. So I'll put x -2. -2, not just 2. And then my last one, what's the x value if f of x equals -1? Well, I come through my table and find -1 and write down my x. Well, x could be 9. But make sure you just do scan the rest of the table, because look, there -1 shows up again right here. And it also has an x value of 4. So I'm going to put 4 as well on my answer. So there you go. That's level 1 for function notation, x's or y's, and how are they paired up.